Hey there! Welcome back to Wounds and Wisdom, a secret space for truth, tenderness, soulful growth, and remembering who you truly are. Today, we are continuing into Season 3, The Becoming. This episode is for the part of you that keeps whispering, "There is more for me than this." It is for the version of you who has searched for purpose in books, careers, relationships, timelines, and expectations, but has never been taught the simplest and most sacred truth. Purpose is not found. Purpose is felt. It rises from the body. It reveals itself through clarity that cannot be forced. It arrives when your nervous system is steady enough to hear your soul speak. Your next life is not out there somewhere. It is already calling from within you. And today, we're gonna answer that call. Most people don't struggle with purpose. They struggle with pressure. The pressure to choose the right path, to make the smart decision, to follow expectations, to be practical, to be impressive, to succeed quickly, to never fail. Purpose slowly turns into a performance, something that you're supposed to get right, instead of something that you are allowed to grow into. And then the questions start. What if I chose wrong? What if I don't have purpose? What if I'm wasting time? What if I'm too late? What if I'm not enough for what I want? And underneath those questions, there is no lack of purpose. It is a nervous system afraid of the cost of wanting more. So if we grew up in environments where our choices were criticized, our desires were dismissed as unrealistic, our value came from being useful, impressive, or easy, environments where we were praised more for pleasing others than listening to ourselves. So purpose began to feel like a test, a place you could fail, another way you could disappoint someone. And when love feels conditional, you learn to orient your life around what keeps me safe, instead of what feels true. So you choose roles, careers, identities that stabilize belonging, even if they quietly starve your spirit. And when our bodies live in survival mode, it narrows the world. Stress compresses imagination, and it's not because we lack vision, but because our body is trying to protect us from the pain of wanting a life it didn't yet feel safe to hold. So when purpose feels confusing, it is not proof that you are lost. It is proof that you have been carrying too much. You've been giving too much. You've been protecting too much. And unfortunately, for too long. Your purpose was never absent. Our body simply didn't have the capacity to receive it. And that's why season 3 is where the capacity returns. Purpose is not a job title. Purpose is not a brand. Purpose is not a perfectly crafted 5-year plan. Purpose is a nervous system state. It is what somatic practitioners call coherence. It's when your thoughts, your body, and your values stop arguing with each other and start moving in the same direction. It is that quiet inner response that says, yeah, this is mine. You feel it as space in your chest, a deeper breath, a lift in your posture, a soft, steady energy inside your body. And when your nervous system feels safe, it frees up energy for intuition, creativity, long-term vision, curiosity, meaning making. This is not just poetic. This is psychological. Under chronic stress, the brain prioritizes survival. And it shifts from what do I want to build to what do I need to avoid. But in regulated states, the ventral states, you have more access to flexibility, planning, imagination, possibility. So your system begins to ask, what feels aligned? What lights me up? What kind of impact feels meaningful? Research on intrinsic motivation shows that people thrive when their needs for autonomy, competence, and connection are met. Your body always knows when life fits or doesn't fit. Work that crushes your autonomy tightens your chest. Relationships that silence you will drain your energy. Roles that suffocate your spirit show up as heaviness in your body. Your nervous system is always asking, does this life feels like me? And when our bodies are regulated, purpose stops being just a puzzle that we need to solve. And it becomes a language that our system speaks. So we don't hunt for purpose. We just need to recognize it. A lot of us need to tell ourselves that our life spans when we listen to what feels true. Because there comes a moment in healing when purpose stops being an abstract question of what is my purpose? And it starts becoming a felt experience. And then we start saying, oh wait, this is what my nervous system relaxes into. And this doesn't arrive as a grand revelation. It arrives as resonance. You begin to notice your energy lift around certain conversations. You lose track of time doing certain work. You feel more yourself in certain roles. Imagining one direction will soften your body, while you imagine the other direction, it will drain it. So your nervous system also tells you what is not aligned, or jaw tightens at the thought of just saying yes, or stomach drops when we picture staying, or breath gets shallow around certain expectations, or body feels heavy imagining 10 more years of the same life. And for years, many of us were taught to override these signals, to ignore the no, because we have to be responsible, we have to be agreeable, we have to be practical, and we must be impressive. But as our nervous system heals, then your yes and your no returns. But it returns your clarity. You might realize that I am not lazy, I was just misaligned. I am not flaky. My body was saying no. I am not lost. I was just carrying a story that was never fully mine. Because identity and purpose rise together as you release old roles. You release being the fixer. You release being the pleaser. You release being the achiever, the quiet one, the always available one. So you create space for a more honest self to emerge. And that honest self is the one who knows your purpose. And then you begin to say, this feels like home. This feels like truth. This feels like the life I was meant to touch. And my friend, your next life is not built by pushing harder. It is built by bravely listening to what your regulated body has been trying to tell you all along. Find a comfortable position. You can sit down or you can stand up. You're gonna place one hand on your chest. Place the other hand on your belly. And we're gonna take really slow breath in. And even slower breath out. Then we're gonna ask ourselves, what in my life feels alive? What expand my breath? What drains my spirit? What will I move towards if I trusted myself for one moment? What small step feels warm instead of heavy? We're gonna choose one answer. And we're gonna breathe into it. And you're gonna start telling yourself, this is mine. And when you exhale, said, I do not need the full map. Let this ground your nervous system. And let your nervous system guide your next step. When you have some time, reflect on the following. Where does my body open when I imagine my next chapter? What desires have been whispering to me for years? What feels like alignment instead of obligation? Which path drains me and which path steadies me? If fear wasn't in the room, what will I choose next? Let your truth rise naturally. Purpose does not rush, it reveals. Repeat with me, or just let these words land softly. I am allowed to want more for my life. My purpose is felt, not forced. I trust where my body expands. I am open to the next version of myself. My clarity grows with every breath. I move towards what feels like truth. My purpose and my nervous system work together. Let them settle like a soft yes in your chest. Thank you for meeting your purpose here today with us. This is Wounds and Wisdom, where your pain isn't shameful, it's sacred. When your healing isn't linear, it's luminous. If this episode helped you notice your own becoming, share it with someone who may need this reminder. And if you feel called, please subscribe to keep growing with us. And remember, you are not healing or becoming alone. We are doing this together. Until next time, be gentle with your soul.